Back to Network Africa right here on Channels Television. Now the war on terror continues in various parts of the world. And this time around, the Army and Defense Ministry for Mali has confirmed that Malian troops killed 5 gunmen during a clash with an armed group in the central Mopti region. Mali's desert north is home to a number of secular armed groups as well as Al-Qaeda-linked Islamic militants that briefly held the area until they were scattered by a French military intervention back in 2013. Attacks on Western and Malian targets have increased in recent months and spread further south to the capital Bamako, despite peacekeeping efforts by a UN mission that took over from France. We're still looking at security, and Kenyan police have issued a $100,000 reward for the capture of a German national accused of taking part in an Al-Shabaab attack on Sunday. Andreas Martin Müller, who has the alias Abu Nusayba, is alleged to be one of the gunmen who attacked a military base in Lamu County. During that incident on Sunday, 11 Al-Shabaab fighters and 2 Kenyan soldiers were killed, and another foreigner, that's Britain, Thomas Evans, also took part in the assault and was killed in the fighting. Sunday's attack is part of a growing number of assaults in Kenya carried out by Somali-based Islamist group Al-Shabaab. Now, the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has received an invitation to visit Britain by the British Prime Minister David Cameron. This comes the day after a Cairo court sentenced the former president to death, drawing Western criticism. Egypt's first freely elected president, Mohamed Morsi of the Muslim Brotherhood, was sentenced to death on Wednesday, a part of a crackdown launched after then-Army Chief Sisi stripped Morsi of power in 2013 following mass protests against his rule. The appealable verdicts, which included death sentences against other senior Brotherhood figures, drew criticism from the United States, the United Nations, as well as the European Union. Egypt is a close British ally in the Middle East, and Cairo is seeking foreign investment to rebuild its economy after years of political turmoil and amid an Islamist insurrection centered on the Sinai Peninsula. Well, now that the AU summit has come to an end, how long will it be before we see implementation? Well, to answer these questions and more, we're joined by Ambassador John Chinkaye, who is the former Chief of Staff to the AU Chairman. Ambassador, thank you very much for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much, Cynthia.
Thank you, Ambassador. Now, I'd just like to ask you, based on your experience with the African Union, how well does it walk the talk?
Well, if your question is in relation to the gender issue, I would say that quite candidly that the AU has been walking the talk. Very often it implements what policies it adopts, but you have to make a distinction between the African Union Commission and the African Union, which is made up of member states. The AU Commission fully implements all the gender policy issues that is in place, but it cannot oblige member states beyond encouraging them to do so.
Well, indeed, my question was as regards the issue of gender, and thank you for answering that. But just before I let you go, Ambassador, how long do you reckon it will be before we start to see tangible results?
On the gender issues as well?
On the gender issue, and also issues that were, other issues that were brought up, for instance, as regards South Sudan, threatening to impose more sanctions in the event that an agreement is not met or implemented. All those issues, basically.
Quite a lot of the issues of implementation depend entirely on member states. The African Union Commission itself will do what it needs to do, and I can assure you that implementation from the African Union Commission side will follow as planned. But member states play an important role in implementation, and they are the ones really who determine when these issues can be implemented. Any issue relating to peace in South Sudan will depend on the preparedness of the Sudanese parties to implement them. If it's on gender issues, it depends really on what each nation wants to do, and the AU can only encourage, it can monitor what they are doing, it can point out where they are lacking behind, and it can not go, but it cannot go beyond that. We haven't reached a level where we can sanction members who do not implement decisions. But I'm hoping that gradually we will get there when we have a parliament at the Pan-African level which has some authority to back up what the AU Commission is doing.
Well, Ambassador, as always, we're grateful for your time. Thank you very much for joining us on the program.
No, not at all. Thank you very much for calling me.
Thank you.